Hi team, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. Good evening all. Thank you for joining this evening. We'll start the session by sharp 7 in another 5 minutes. Thank you. Good evening, all. This is John from Obscura Zone. Thank you for joining this evening. Today, Meenakshi will be leading this session on do's and don'ts for telephonic and online interviews. And thank you, Praditani team, for arranging this session. Hope this session will be really helpful for the job seekers for the upcoming interviews. Please feel free to post your comments or suggestions in our chat window. This session will be available in our YouTube channel, Obscura Zone. So now Meenakshi will take you through the rest of the session. Over to you, Meenakshi. It's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome you all to yet another session from Obscura Zone in association with Pradithuni Technical Forum on the do's and don'ts for a telephonic or online interview. Let me start this session with a small chapter from my own life. I hold a degree certificate in BTech Computer Science. My graduation was in the year 2010. If any of you remembers, that was the year of IT boom. So I thought that the companies across the world will be fighting for this resource. I exactly did what all my friends did. I prepared a resume, copying whatever they had in their resume and sent it across to all the job positions that was announced in Naukri.com. I sat and waited. But unfortunately, I didn't receive any call from HR. Why? I began to get upset because few of my friends who sent out their resumes at the same time as I did began to receive calls. Luckily, one of my cousins was there to help me. He said that he would refer me to one of the firms that he knew. So he asked me to share my resume. I did, and bang came the reply. What crap you shared with me, Shruti? Shruti is my pet name. And I was like, uh, what is wrong with my resume? And he said, this is a template that has been running in this IT industry for the past 20 years. You just copied that from the internet, right? There is nothing new in this resume. And that is why when you start your job search, the first and foremost thing is to have a top notch resume. Because if we take the case of a recruiting department or a recruiting manager, they have been doing this job for the past for so many years. They are well equipped to analyze a resume and they will understand a standard template the moment they see it. You have to make your resume unique in your own way. You have to highlight the talents that you actually have instead of copying something blindly from a standard template. So I believe that you have this first step checked. You have a resume on your own, not a copied template. With that belief, let me start with the session, which is how to face a telephonic interview or how to answer a telephonic interview. So how this will start for you? For me, it was an email confirmation saying that, hey Shruti, we are very happy to announce that you have been selected for a telephonic interview, confirming a date and time. Was that the same way with you? Can you please post in the comment box what was the communication that you received? Was it a direct call from one of the recruiting managers or was it an email confirmation? Come on, please answer me. I'm waiting for your answers. Not yet seeing anything in the chat box. No action in the chat box. Okay, so I didn't receive any answers yet, but I am going to assume that this was the same case with you as well. You also received an email confirmation on a telephonic interview. So what exactly is a telephonic interview? Why the recruiting managers are going for such a step at all? Why can't they just go into a face-to-face interview? Why can't they just kickstart with a technical discussion? Again, a telephonic interview is a screening interview to narrow down the window of the candidates that are applying for the open position. Why? Because they have to make sure that the candidates being selected at this point of time have really great communication skills and mostly soft skills, apart from their hard skills, which comprises of experience, education, and certifications that are fit for the open position. So this screening interview is a filtering process that helps to narrow down the number of candidates from the actual number of resumes they have received. And this is an utmost important step for the recruiting department. So, as I said, if it was a technical interview, it would have been face to face. Taking the current circumstances into consideration, it is not a face to face interview nowadays, it is going to be a video call. If it is a video call or a face to face interview, things are pretty much different. You know why? Because the interviewer gets to analyze your facial expressions, your body language. 93% of the analysis in a face to face interview happens by analyzing your body language. But that is not the case with a voice call, an audio call. What they are analyzing is your tone. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah. So, what are the basics for a telephonic interview? Let us take the case of the interviewer. He has been doing this for a long time and take that particular day into consideration. The interviewer has been on the call for a long time and it is your turn now to answer the call. It is your duty to grab his attention even if he was having a bad day. After talking to you, what he should feel is, oh my God, he is so good. She is so good. I really want to meet him. I really want to meet her. I do want to set him in for the next round. This is the feeling that the interviewer should get from your side. So it is your duty to grab the attention from the interviewer. And there will be a set of questions that will be directed at you. And there will be topics that you have a difference of opinion. In such argumentative topics as well, please be polite. Don't be emotional while you answer such controversial topics, okay? So make sure that you make it a conversation throughout the time frame of the call. And even if it's an audio call, at any point of time, they can ask you to turn it to a video call. So even if it was confirmed to be an audio call, be prepared for a video call. And never Google in between. This is an irritating character that I have seen many a times. Because people will think that, oh my God, this is an audio call. I can make use of the laptop in front of me and the internet connection that I have. What will happen? Hey, I have good hearing abilities. I can hear you typing in the keys, pressing the keys. I can hear that. So please never Google in between. Answer from your heart. Whatever you know is enough. Trust your instincts, but not the instinct to Google in between. Avoid distractions. Please attend from a dedicated room because we have so many people when we are staying with a family, right? Any of them can barge in into our room while we are in this call. So let us make it clear for everyone in the family, do attend from a dedicated room. You just give this half an hour for the interviewer and yourself. Show your dedication, okay? Next is for the parents with children. They don't know anything. They are small. They might be small children, may not understand if you say, hey, I have a call at this point of time. So make sure to do the necessary arrangements to handle them. Maybe your parents can take care of them. So do make necessary arrangements to handle your children. Next is have a pen and notepad handy. We will be explaining why this is important in a later slide as well. This shows that you are all prepared. All these steps described here shows that you are all prepared to answer the telephonic interview. We can move on to the next slide. So, circling back to what I was talking about, in an audio call, all the interviewer get to hear is your tone. So, how can you pace your tone? What should your tone be like? You should demonstrate energy and confidence. But how can we demonstrate energy and confidence through a tone? All I mean is you should sound pleasant, calm, and confident. It doesn't mean that you have to be overexcited or pushy, like, yes, ma'am, this is Meenakshi here. Yeah, ma'am, I'm all set for you. Yeah, yeah. No, don't do that. Just being yourself, pleasant, calm, and confident. And actively listen to the questions that are being asked. Only if you are calm, you can do that. Why actively listen to the questions? Only then you can frame your answers properly. Because if you overthink, let me take my example as well. In the initial days of my job search, I used to be thinking about, okay, what if she's going to ask me about the manual testing? What if she's going to switch in between to the other thing? Oh my God, what if I don't have an answer to that? In fact, I skipped the entire question. Two of the questions I skipped because I was into myself. I was thinking within my mind. So actively listen to all the questions that they have for you so that you can frame your answers. And also, there is one more thing. You don't have to talk in circles or ramble. You have to get to your point quickly. So if there are people who watch cookery shows, I'm not an expert cook, but I do watch a great deal of cookery shows. They will be explaining in the initial time about what all ingredients that are needed. And they will say like, okay, take ginger, cut it into small pieces. Ginger gives such flavor to the dish, to the gravy. It is so good for your health. Come on, dude. I know that ginger is very good for my health, but this is not what I'm looking for. I tend to zone out from what you're saying. So it is like cut the unnecessary pointers. Come up with your point very quickly because all you have is a 15 or a 30-minute long call to prove yourself. So make use of that time. We can move to the next slide. Okay, so I told about tone. How can we practice about the tone? There is a trick here. You can utilize the latest technologies to full extent. What you can do is find out the questions that are in the internet for a telephonic interview process. Then record it, play it back, and listen to your own voice. Then place yourself in the position of an interviewer. Would I be engaged for this answer? Or would I tend to go into the resume of the next candidate in my hand? If you have the answer for that, you are clear to handle with your tone. Next is, as I said, for a technical interview, it might be a video call. It is your duty to make sure to ask the interviewer or the recruiting manager, whoever communicated with you in the initial step, to ask which is the platform for that video call. Is it Google Hangouts? Is it Zoom? Is it Microsoft Teams? Apart from this, you have to make sure that this is installed in your laptop. If you already have it installed, it is your responsibility to check the connectivity, to check if you are able to connect with the interviewer properly. If you are not able to connect with the interviewer properly, you have to inform the interviewer so that they can reconnect with you.
Hey guys, just a technical glitches. Bear with us for a moment. We'll get back to you in another moment itself. It's a kind of technical glitches.
Sorry for that. Can everyone hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
loud and clear.
Meenakshi.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for that. Yeah. So coming back to the point. So check out the platform that they are utilizing. Is it Google Hangout, Zoom, or Microsoft Teams? Check out the connectivity, login, audibility, video clarity. And yeah, about the background. I have seen many of the candidates having such bad background. Just imagine, I have dedicated a set of amount of time for you guys, and you have a pile of dirty clothes or a bad background. That just indicates unprofessionalism. And make sure you have the professional attire. Even if you are not prepared, if you are prepared for the audio call, be prepared for a video call as well. And in between, never say, I don't have any internet connection or no range, because that shows lack of enthusiasm, lack of interest from your side, because you already confirmed that you will be available for this call. So even if you have to face some questions that you couldn't answer, never leave the call in between saying that you don't have an internet connection or no range. That is also highly unprofessional. And I won't be interested in taking up with the next step with you. So please ensure this as well. We can move on to the next slide. So here I have a few sample questions that I have found useful in the internet for a telephonic interview. So I'm going to read it out for everyone. Can you tell me about your background? Is this the first question that you also received in your telephonic interview? Or if you are reading this, please share in the comment box which is the first question that you received in your telephonic interview. I'm not seeing any messages in the chat box, and this is really worrying me. Or if you're interested in unmuting yourself, do anyone wish to do that? You can even post that if you want to unmute yourself and talk. Okay, I'm still not seeing any replies from you guys. So I am taking it that uh, the first question that I received during one of my telephonic interview was, can you tell me about your background? So how will you tell about your background? For me, if it is directed to me at this point of time, my answer will be, I have 7 years of experience in manual and automation testing, proficient in Selenium, Java, and CTF automation tools, both API and UI. I'm also familiar with Postman tool. I'm well equipped in the concepts of manual testing. For the past 3 years, I have been working in Agile Scrum methodology, actively participating in all Scrum ceremonies. As you saw, in like less than 1 minute, I came to the point and I stopped there. This is exactly how you should answer your questions as well. You have to be crisp, clear, but yet concise. You have to brief, yet elaborate. So I'm going to read the rest of the questions. Why are you looking for a new job? Because they want to know what is wrong with your current job, obviously. So you have to be prepared for that question. Where are you in your job search? To understand, do you already have an offer in hand? When could you start working? Obviously, about your notice period. Do you have 3 months of notice period or can you start immediately working? All that. Next, very important for both the parties, yet a little bit uncomfortable topic, salary expectations. This we have to deal with a little bit of tactics and definitely diplomacy. Why do you want to leave your current job? Something similar to why do you have a gap in your career? What attracted you to apply for this position? Indirectly meaning, are you really excited about my company and the job? Describe your current job responsibilities to check if you are the correct fit for the open position. What motivates you in a job? Is it the upcoming challenges? Is it that you are a good team player? So, all these questions you have to answer with modesty, politeness, genuineness, everything. We can move on to the next slide. Another question. What attracted you to our organization? Are you pumped to work in my organization? What do you know about our products and or services? Or rather, like, do you really know about my company? What did you do during the year long gap in your employment? I have faced this question 3 years back when I started with my job search after a 3 year long gap. So mine was a really genuine reason because I had to take care of my kid at that point of time. There was no one else. But during my telephonic interview, in the managerial round, the manager asked me, "What if you have a second child? Would you leave the company if I offer you the job?" I was really dumbstruck because I didn't expect him to ask me that. But somehow I managed to answer that. I have a maid who is living with me. So if I have a second child, I will make the necessary arrangements for her to take care of my child. Yeah, unexpected questions is bound to happen in a telephonic interview. Did your internship give you specific experience to apply to this job? If they are a recent college graduate, what questions do you have for me? Probably the last question from the interviewer towards you. So these are a few sample questions that you can find in the internet as well as part of a telephonic round, which is probably an HR or a managerial round. We can move on to the next slide, Sam. Yeah. So navigating back to the initial point I had, what are the set of preparations we should do from our side to buckle up for this telephonic interview? First, a very important step, confirm the scheduled time. You have to confirm the date and time so you are sure to pick up when the call comes in. And that is why in the previous slide I said never answer I don't have a net connection, I don't have range, because in this step you make sure that you will be available for the call. Add a reminder in your calendar. I'm sure the people who are currently participating in this session will have used Book My Show or any similar application to book the movie tickets that you're going to. They tend, it is their facility to send in a reminder. They know that we all, whoever booked the tickets, are pretty excited to go to the movies. But yet again, they will send in a reminder. So it is a best practice to add a reminder in your calendar because your punctuality creates an impression in your interviewer. A very important skill, soft skill that the employers are looking for in their employees is punctuality. So I have a question to you all. If the interview is at 2 p.m., what time will you join? Can I see the chat box comments now? Anybody? Oh, you people are breaking my heart. I don't see a single chat comment.
Hey,
All right.
Meenakshi, a few
Yeah.
few comments are coming up in YouTube, so it's okay. Yeah, I think someone is
Yeah.
responding. Thanks, Feroz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Feroz, for that wonderful answer. I received an answer 1:58 p.m. Any other answers? 2 p.m. I got an answer from Sujit Mohan as 2 p.m. Any other answers? Okay. So thank you, Sujit and Feroz, for the wonderful response. So, my dear people, please ensure.
Meenakshi, we have few more answers in the YouTube as well, like Anish 145, Mukesh
Mhm.
150, Harihara Meet 150, Anju 145. Yeah, we have more answers.
Great. Kudos, girls and boys. Thank you for the participation. I was a little dis- I was a little in dilemma because my chat box was staying vacant for the past few minutes. So thank you for the responses. And I am going to give a loud round of applause for the person who gave me the answer 1:45 p.m. You know why? Because this 15 minutes you can utilize to be eased up into the meeting. you can utilize this time to make sure of your internet connection, your range, your audibility, your video clarity, your background. Okay, so these are the prerequisites, the things that you can do from your end to make sure that no technical glitches come in during the interview. You can go into the dedicated room you decided. Everything can be done in this 15 minutes. So let me tell you that for this session, which was bound to start at 7 p.m., uh, what might be the time that I joined this session? Can anyone imagine or give a guess? Okay, it is fine. I don't see any answers, but it is fine. I'm going to go ahead and give my answer. I joined at 6:30. I'm a person who has been taking these sessions for the past 2 years. Okay, but yet again, I have to make sure that there are no glitches that might happen in between. You know why? Because there are people who are dedicating 1 hour for me. So I don't want to cause any kind of discomfort to them. So that is the level of dedication every employer will be expecting from your side. So you have to be serious about this. Please join at least 15 minutes earlier in your call. If it is a video call, but if it's an audio call, you just have to sit and wait for the call to come in. But you have to be prepared. You have to be in the seat, in the hot seat. Okay. All right. I think we can move to the next slide. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if anyone do this because when it was my time, I was kind of skeptical. Oh my God, I actually had a conflicting appointment at the same time. How am I going to reschedule this? Or maybe I will just skip that one and enter into this call? No, we all are human beings. We might have our own personal commitments. So go ahead and send in an email mentioning that, hey, I'm sorry, I might not be available at the mentioned time, but is it possible to reschedule the meeting or the telephonic interview? You can even propose a few date and time that works well for you. And finally, both the parties can arrive at a time that works best for both the parties. Okay, so if inconvenient, go ahead and reschedule. Such a honest communication is a valuable skill employees are looking for. So don't worry about that. But there is a catch. You avoid last minute rescheduling, highly unprofessional. Never do this. So let's take the case where you got a second interview call proposing the same time. And you might be, if that is a company that, if it was a dream job that you were looking for, if it was a company that you were long back, you were wishing to join that company. Okay. In that case, never think of rescheduling the first interview. If it was last minute. Okay. That is the point. Never do last minute rescheduling. Yeah, we can move on to the next slide. JD. What is it? JD. What is JD? Job description. So we can actually have a detailed study of the job description and make a self introduction based on that. Anybody do that here? I didn't do in the initial days of my job search, but after having few setbacks, I began to do this. And trust me, this do wonders to us because it will give us so much confidence because we have already indicated that, hey, I'm the right fit for you. It's already pitched in. In the self-introduction, I already gave the interviewer what all skills that I have matching to the job description. For example, let's take the case where they invited entries for Selenium automation experience 3 to 5 years. And I am so skilled in Selenium Java. So in the self-introduction, I can say that I have 3 years of Selenium experience in Selenium Java. I have been using it. I am well versed in all the OOPS concepts that we are using in Selenium, and we can just go on about it. So how did I come up with such a self-introduction? Entirely based on the job description. And even if after so much preparation of the job description, there are chances that a very unfavorable question outside the job description was asked. You did not expect such a question to be asked at you. What would you do? You will try to think a little bit, try to match up that situation to anywhere in your career, anywhere you have read in the internet, then come up with an answer. But the question is, how gracefully you recover from the impact of an uncertain situation. The interviewer also know that you are not equipped in this particular question. What they are analyzing is your attitude, how you answer a challenge, how you face a challenge. Is it that you get tensed and nervous about this uncertain situation, and after that, all the questions were affected. Your confidence was affected. In the check mark, in the check box, not tick, because unfit to face challenges is what the interviewer interrupt it inferred from that reaction of yours. So even if there is a question outside your job description, you can go with a plain I'm sorry, I don't know, I don't have an exact answer to your query, and move on. But for the next question, come back to your tone, demonstrating energy and confidence, just like you were during the start of the call. So never be impacted by an unfavorable question or an uncertain situation during your telephonic interview. We can move on to the next slide. Ask about the next steps. So what is that? Simply, what is next? This expresses your continued interest in the role and the company. It can help you prepare for the upcoming round. Even if you are not sure whether you get selected or not, make sure to ask this question to the interviewer, because this shows that you are really enthusiastic about this job opportunity, about this position. So ask about the next step. Even if you didn't get selected for this interview, you can be buckled up for the upcoming interviews as well. So that is the importance of asking about the next steps. Also, there is a pointer I think I missed to add to keep. Yeah, I mentioned it during the introduction slide, where you have to keep a pen and notepad handy. Right now, if you can hear the sound, I have a notepad and a pen. You can hear, I believe you can hear the hustling of the papers. Yeah, I have a notepad and a pen handy, because to note down if there is a question coming in that I am not able to answer, I should be prepared for the next session for that question, right? So a notepad and a pen helps you to prepare better for the next interview. Yeah, we can move on to the next slide. A thank you email. It is always a courtesy, a basic courtesy from the interviewee to send in a thank you email. And make sure in that email you properly address the interviewer. Was it Mike? Was it Fred? Was it Annie? Just say, hi, Annie. Thank you for your time. Thank you for selecting me for the telephonic interview we had on so and so date and time. We had such and such discussion. You can give a brief on the discussion you had, and make sure to send in an email, such an email within 24 hours, because they might not remember you. They have been having a day-long interview session. So when a thank you email comes in from the interviewee, they might feel impressed with you. Okay, he remembered my session. Wow, that feels good. So remember to send in a thank you email. We can go to the next slide. Follow up. Yeah, I'm not sure how many of you do this as a practice in your job search process, but make sure to do this. A follow-up email. This will give you an idea on where you stand in the candidate selection, and follow up after within a week or two. They might reply that, hey, Meenakshi, we are still doing the rounds. We are still going on with the candidate selection process. So if they say that we will be winding this up in the next week, and if you are selected, you will get an email. So you have a time frame for the wait period, like 1 week's time. So within that time, you will get the closure if you are selected or not. All you have to do is wait for that email instead of not knowing what is happening with the interview result. So consider following up with an email within a week or two of the interview process. We can move on to the next slide. And this is my personal favorite. Research the company. How can we research about a company, and is it really needed? So let me take you to the case where we are looking for an alliance. Okay, Meenakshi is going to marry. and she posted about her personal details in matrimonial site. And I got to see a few of the boys. Okay, so what will I do? I will definitely do a legwork on him. I really need to know if he is the right fit for me, right? Do you know that for an alliance? I want to know what all the interest the other person have, how he is in the Facebook, how he is in the Instagram handle, how he is in the LinkedIn, where is he placed, what is he doing. I'll be definitely interested. What all are his friends? Who all are his friends? What all passions he has? What are his hobbies? If we do that for this thing, why not for a company that of your dream job to land in your dream job? Always research about your company. How can we do this research? Thanks to all the technology we have. We have LinkedIn, the Glassdoor, a website where you can read about the company review. And LinkedIn handle, I'm not sure how many of you utilize the LinkedIn handle properly, because LinkedIn gives you lot many connections. In the initial time, I told you about my cousin who helped me out with my resume and buckled up me for the telephonic interview and all the rounds that were coming. So LinkedIn actually does that for you. You don't have to find anyone else. You can find HR people who are working. You can come to know about your mutual connections. If there is a job posting from an HR, you can find out if you have a mutual connection and go to them directly and discuss what the job is about, how it happened, what is the backdrop. Everything you can understand from your LinkedIn handle. So please make use of this technology. So review the company's website, social media, and recent activity to learn more about the company's values, goals, and their corporate culture. Make note of certain details about the company and mention them if there is an opportunity. For example, they might ask you, why do you want to work with us? That is a generic question. People ask that during a telephonic interview. Why do you want to work with us? A managerial question. If I'm a person who read about the company's core values in their website, I will be definitely prepared to answer that, because I was so excited about the core values that you shared in your website. I was so excited. I definitely wanted to work for such a company. This is my dream job, to work with such a cultured company, a corporate cultured company. So you can tailor your answers based on your research. Let me give an example from my life as well here also. I went for an interview. I knew that I did the research. You can't blame me. I did the research. I researched and understood that this was a company who was developing banking applications. So I was going for the manual tester opening, and definitely I expected them to ask me about manual testing questions. But what I didn't prepare for was they gave me live scenarios from the functionality of the application and asked me to write scenarios and test cases. But I was not prepared for that, because when he said current account and savings account, I got dumbstruck. I didn't know. All I could have done was, just the previous day when I understood that it was a banking application developing company, I could have gone ahead and understood how a banking application works. What are the basic functionalities a banking application has? And I didn't do that. And only because of that, I couldn't answer the questions properly. There might have been individuals who attended the same interview as me on that day who had a better answer, who answered well equipped in a well equipped manner, because I lost it in the research the company step. So make it a habit to research about the company that you're going to attend the interview about. This is a very, very helpful step in your job search and interview process. We can go to the next slide. Okay, as I already mentioned, a question that can be expected in any of the HR or the managerial round. Why should we hire you? What is in it that what is in it that I should be attracted about you? Here are a few of the answers, a tailor-made answers. Utilize my skills for the project, and you can come up with such an answer only if you know what the job description is about. Only if you did the legwork about the job description. You can say that I have this, and this skills, which is the right fit for your open position, mutual growth. You will help me learn, and on the other hand, you can make utilize of my skills. Long-term commitment. I am looking for a company where I can settle down. I'm a quick learner. I'm a good team player. I am flexible. Even if you have shifts, I am flexible. So all these tailor-made answers will help you. Instead of, if you are not prepared for such common questions, what happens is you will be thinking, but you don't actually have the time to think, is what you should remember. All you have is a 15 to 30 minutes window frame within which you should come up with an answer. There are questions where we can take our time and think and come up with an answer. But the questions that are common, there will be people who are well equipped to answer such questions. Yeah, so it all depends on how you prepare well for these common questions. We can move on to the next slide. Yeah, all I have been explaining until now is the what are the do's. Yeah, what all should be done from our side to rock this telephonic interview. Next is the red flags of caution. What all should not be done from your side. Let me come up with the first point, a lack of enthusiasm. If any one of you remembers, how did I start the session? With a cheerful, I believe I was cheerful. I was tensed, but I tried to sound cheerful. I wished you all good evening, ladies and gentlemen, is what I said. Even not to that extent. If as an interviewer, I hear a dull hi from the interviewee's side, what will I feel? It is important to position yourself in an interviewer's role because the interviewer has been taking interviews throughout the week, throughout the day. He has been spending time on the phone. So a dull response will definitely drive me off, especially if I didn't have my lunch and I was spending my time on the calls. So please try to sound positive with enthusiasm, with confidence. Again, circling back to my first slide, demonstrate energy and confidence. Never lack that enthusiasm in your sound. Next, no questions. Have been there, have done that. When the interviewer asked me, do you have any questions for me? As the wrap up question, I said, no, because I already answered all the rest of the questions to the best of my knowledge. I was pumped. I didn't have any questions to the interviewer. I didn't get selected. This is not a deal breaker. But remember that there will be people who are well equipped to answer this question, who will go and research the company. If it is a taxation company, they might read about the recent changes in the tax rules and ask, hey, are your project dealing with the changes that is right now happening in the tax season right now? Is a question that someone will ask. And that single question will make him stand out from the lot. From out of the 20 candidates, maybe that is the only person that asked me a question. And everyone else got rejected. So make sure to ask a question back to the interviewer. Sounding distracted. Circling back to the initial slide, where you didn't give yourself a dedicated room. It could be a howling dog. Maybe your child barged in and demanded that they wanted food. It can happen. We all are human beings. This can happen. But you did have the time to make sure to avoid such distractions. You know why? Because I am talking in a flow. I might lose that track when I get distracted. I might be bringing up a very catchy point, but I got distracted. I lost track of the flow. I lost track of the conversation that I was having. So make sure not to sound distracted during your interview. Next, negative comments about our former employers. Time and again, people prove that this question cannot be asked or never even mentioned in a telephonic interview or any interview for that matter. Because bad mouthing about your former employer indicates that this might happen if I am giving you a job. You might badmouth about me as well. So never ever utter a negative comment about your former employer. You can tactfully deal with this situation. I am looking for better career prospects. See the difference? I am trying to enhance my skills. That is all I'm doing, not bad mouthing about my current or former employer. Next, I have seen this. People who focus on money, they are not knowingly doing this. Okay. Definitely, we all want money. We all want a hike, a salary percentage hike we want. But you cannot mention that this is the primary focus that you have. Okay. So never uh, focus that much into the money part when this is being discussed. You can say that this is my salary expectation, but this is negotiable. I already have an offer in hand who are offering me this much. So politely put in your expectations when it comes to the money part. So you all did the legwork until now. Why waste it on such a single question? Yeah. So please be less focused on the money until it is really needed. Okay. So yeah, what is the next question? What next slide, please? Yeah, as I believe I already covered this. You have to sound, yeah. Again, any questions for me? As I said, this is not a deal breaker, but any questions is a thing that displays your interest by asking insightful questions at the end of the interview. So, what are the questions that you can ask from your end? What will be my daily responsibilities? You can ask that. What is your workplace environment like? A generic question for any company. What is your favorite part for working for the company? It is a question directly to the interviewer. So this shows your interest to work in the environment, to fit into the company culture. So be buckled up with any question that you have. Now that this is a work from home era, you can also ask that. How are your employees coping with the work from home atmosphere right now? When are you planning to open the office? Is it open right now? You can include such questions based on the current scenarios as well. Yeah. And we come to an end of the session. So it is time for the participants to bombard me with your questions. Please don't stay silent. You can post your comments in the chat box, and and my team will be answering your questions if we can in the best possible way. Sam or anyone in the call, please help me if there are questions being asked in the other channel.
Yeah, sure. We are just looking.
Okay.
Yeah, in YouTube, I could see superb session. No questions, but a comment.
Mm-hmm. Any questions? Should we give a chance for them to unmute and ask directly?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, I got a comment from Deba Nainan thanking me for the informative session. Thank you, Deba, for attending. We have time. We have like 12 minutes. Make use of the time. See, I'm asking you a question. You don't have any question for me. You knew that this is going to be about the do's and don'ts of the telephonic interview. And you don't have any question for me. Okay, if I was the interviewer, I would be feeling bad about the interview that we just had.
Meenakshi, may I ask you a question?
With pleasure. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you're explaining about the rescheduling or postponing interview even in the last minute. Okay, in that area, I have a question. Just imagine I got the interview scheduled on Wednesday for Friday 3:30 p.m. Okay, I got the email and confirmation that saying that the Friday 3:30 I have to attend the interview. Okay, everything goes fine. until Friday morning. And Friday morning, I got an email from my boss or my teammates saying we have scheduling a meeting on the same time, 3:30. So what should be my approach? I need to reschedule the interview, or I need to reschedule my current company meeting. What should
Yeah.
be your take?
Thank you for the question, John. Yeah, very confusing question, and I am sure many of us might have faced the same situation one time or other. So my take on this is that I would definitely try with my interviewer to postpone, even if it is last minute. I can say that a very unexpected situation came up, and is it possible to postpone the interview? I might propose a convenient time like. After 4:30, because the company might be open at that time too, and the people will be working, so I might ask for a time after my official meeting, probably 4:30. But if they really want me to attend that meeting, then I would come back and work out here with my teammates as well.
Okay, so you are saying that we can just postpone the interview for a couple of minutes, right?
Yeah, that is my take on this. Yep.
So
Is that
we
that
have
is
to.
that Yeah.
So we can take both current company as well as the future company together by
Yes, yes.
postponing for a minute.
Yes, you have to use a little bit of tactics at such situations. Yep.
So diplomatically, right?
Handle the situations. Yep. Without hurting both the parties, because in my perspective, I need my current employer and the future employer as well.
Okay, okay, Meenakshi, I think we have some questions.
Questions. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If the interviewer asks me about the salary expectations, up to how much I can ask?
Okay. Do you want to answer that,
Uh,
John?
yeah, sure. Basically, the expected salary about the company, that is depends upon so many parameters, like the company standard. Obviously, second one would be the market standard, and obviously the demanding role that you are playing. So a common answer. So these are all the factors that we usually consider while asking for salary. So the one, what would be my personal favorite answer would be, I'll be usually asking around 30% hike. That's the usual thing that I will be asking, and then I'll be putting in one more addition, like yeah, it is again negotiable up to your company standards. I'll not be saying I need this much of amount. Instead, I'll be saying like I would expect a 30% hike. That will be the usual answer that I will be putting.
Oh,
Meenakshi, do you have anything to add on?
I generally answer with up to the industrial standards is what I generally follow, but it can vary.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you really have
Okay.
Yeah.
an
So
amount in mind, yes, 30% sounds good.
yeah. So
Okay.
main
We can
actually we
move on.
have another question. Yeah, we
Hmm.
have another question in YouTube. So it's told like, can we ask question to interviewer? If we ask, what do they think about me after the interview? Can I ask to the interviewer, what do you think about me?
Obviously, if you have any question for the interviewer, save your questions towards the end of the interview and definitely ask those. The interviewer will actually be happy to answer your questions. That is what you have to understand. And make sure that you have questions related to the job and the opening and the company, not anything else. Okay, so
Oh,
if you have a question in that line, definitely ask that. And I have always found the interviewers very happy to answer our questions. Actually, I have felt that they are waiting for us to ask the answers, because they want to brand their company. Okay, and that also they want to do. So they will be very happy to go on about how their company is, what all the core values that they have, how is the workplace environment like. So they will be definitely happy to answer your questions. Does that answer, or anything to
yeah.
add?
No, I think that's perfect. And I think there were two questions with respect to
Hmm.
the resume. I
Hmm.
mean, it has been asked like, I mean, do you help in building resume, or can you show me an ideal resume? I think I can take that answer. Yeah. So actually, these questions came in the YouTube. So we'll be coming up with another session with the resume building. I mean, with respect to your years of experience and what kind of certification that need to be taken. So we could say, like, I mean, this question is out of syllabus for this current session. So we'll be coming up with a separate session for this, right?
Thank you.
And
Stay tuned, guys. And yeah, sorry to cut off, John. Yeah, what was that?
we have one more question. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
actually, and the question: do we need to mention personal things like professional education part uh, at the time of self-introduction?
Okay, so let me tell about my experience. Okay, he has Sharon Vinod is the who raised
Yeah.
the question. Can you tell me about your background? Is the question at this point of time, and he is asking if we need to mention personal things, educational part. If I am an experienced person, I would definitely be jumping into the my experience, explaining what all areas that I have experienced, what all areas I am well equipped with. And if then if it is followed up with my personal or educational questions, I will be happy to answer too. But if I'm a fresher, I don't actually have that much experience to share with the interviewer. So in that case, I will definitely go into my personal and educational part and give a little more glimpse into it. Anything to add, team?
Yeah, one point, like at the time of at the time of self-introduction, it's always good to highlight your saleable skills, like what are all your technical skills. That is the one saleable area that we always want to highlight. So it's always good to highlight our saleable skills, like our technical skills. Like Meenakshi mentioned, that technical skills which is mentioned in the JD. So they'll be having that will be really helpful to make an idea or judgment that okay, this candidate having some skills that we really looking for.
Exactly. Yeah, there is one more question from Deepa Nainan. How to gain confidence while talking to the interviewer? Yeah, we all still have that question in mind. Yep. Yeah, so my answer is what helped me is during the initial days I was going in circles. I didn't get to the point quickly, and I didn't know how to frame the answers. And that is when I began to utilize my connections. Whoever friends I had in my IT industry, I made a call with them. I asked them to prepare a set of interview questions for me. Okay, and I just had mock interviews with them. I recorded it and I saw how it was going. That actually gave me the confidence. I understood that I was using so many fillers, like then I worked with this company. Hearing back the recording gives you a precise idea of how you are answering. If you are confident, we can analyze that. No need to take interviews. Even if you don't have any experience as an interviewer, hearing back your own voice gives you a precise idea of how you are answering. Is it with confidence, or are you just blindly thinking about, or everything can be understood from a recording. So go ahead and practice in front of the mirror. Have your questions ready with you. You can also utilize the internet, get sample questions, practice in front of the mirror, and see how you are answering. That also helps. That are the tips that I used. Anything to add, team? John or anyone?
No, I think we are good on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, practicing in front of mirror, I mean, that should be re-emphasized. I mean, so we personally have experienced it. I mean, you guys should definitely give a try on it. I mean, you will definitely see a difference if you practice it. So
Practicing
one
in
more
front
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, John.
practicing in front of the mirror is something we implemented in our classroom sessions. Like in our Obscura, we used to emphasize the candidates to practice that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another question. So this is a bit outside from what we discussed. I mean, what
Mm-hmm.
does success look like in this job position, and how do you measure it? I mean, I think Akhil is trying to ask: does success and job designation matters?
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead,
Wow,
John.
that's a very difficult and insightful question.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is success?
Okay. If you are able to make a good conversation during the telephonic interview, that is one sign of a success, I always believe. A positive
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, end of the day, it depends on person to person, individual to individual. I mean, some might compare success with respect to the salary they earn with respect to the years of experience, and others might be comparing with respect to the designation they gain. So I think, to the answer, success depends on individual to individual, and I don't think we can give a generic answer. Finally, we have one more question for a fresher. If the interviewer asks about yourself, what can we tell? So I think she is asking, how should a fresher explain if an interviewer asks, explain about yourself?
I had a script that I followed. I would start from personal details like I hail from so and so city. I have this many people at home. I about my education. I will give a little brief on my personal side where I'm residing and all. Then I will get into the educational part, starting from my 10, then plus two, and then I will give a brief on my college, what I did, what degree certificate I hold, how much GPA I had, what was the. I will give a glimpse on the projects I did. I will give a glimpse into my passion as well. Like I will prepare a script for like 2 minutes at the max, and I will practice it. That is my answer. Anything to add, team?
In the case of a fresher, if you have some any projects that you do as part of your academic projects, means you can go ahead and highlight your project experience.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and finally, one more note. Like, I mean, if you're a tester, maybe if you take a certification like ISTQB, or
Yeah,
if you're a
exactly.
developer, if you take any
Mhm.
kind of certifications, that can be an add-on. In fact, I mean, that proves yourself. I mean, you have crossed one bar, so that will be really helpful. I mean, certifications really help you while
Yeah.
recruiters try to catch up the people. So one more question was like, I mean, if interviewer asks, what are your strength and weakness, how can we present it? Strength and
Wow.
weakness, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, actually, I really did go to the internet for the answers. I actually analyzed what all are the generic strengths people have posted in the internet, and then analyzed which all are my strengths compared to that. For example, I have found myself as a quick learner. Okay, I do learn things fast, and a team player. This is a quality that your employer might be looking in you. So you have to find the attributes that work well for you, that you will be confident while presenting this. But if you are cooking up an answer, it will reflect. So make sure to pick up attributes that will reflect positively on the interviewer. And about weaknesses, we all have our own weaknesses. Like for me, it was if it is a challenging situation, I take some time to cope with it. So I have to have a little downtime to adjust with it. So and then I will add that I understand that this is a weakness and I'm still working on it, and I am making good progress with that. It's what I have answered in my interviews. Anything to add?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
we
one attribute. Yeah, go ahead, John. Go ahead. Yeah.
so okay, okay. Can we tell him like a honest answer, like I don't want to expose my weakness to in an open forum? Can we say like that? Will it be an offensive answer, or will it be a honest answer? I don't want to expose my my weakness.
Oh my God.
Again, it depends upon the interviewer.
Yeah,
Will it be
if
positive
he's
or
a pissed off interviewer after having a tough day, he might take it in a bad sense. But if it is an
negative?
interviewer who takes things sportly, then okay, let me see if I can find out what your weakness is after interviewing you in the next round. We don't actually know. Okay, and there is a like-minded question from Firoz to everyone: how to deal with a rude interviewer? For example, he wants to reject me before interview, but HR forced him to take an interview. Oh my God, what a question! Yeah, there might be situations like this arising, and as I said, their intention might not be to reject you. all they might be checking will be how you are answering, how you are reacting to an unfavorable or an uncertain situation. So it is your duty to prove to him that during challenging situations also you can remain calm, pleasant and confident and come up with solutions that work well for the problem. So never lose your heart even if the interviewer is being rude to you. Utilize the opportunity, take it as a learning lesson so that you are buckled up better for the next rude interview. Will be my answer. Anything to add, team?
Yeah. In that question, I need to ask you another question related to that. Before attending the interview, how can we get into conclusion that this guy is going to be rude and he is trying to reject me? In that case, before attending the interview, we are making an impression that we are not going to perform in that interview. That is not a positive outlook. I always believe we really want to become in a positive way and positive note. Then only we can perform the interview and make it in a positive result. So we don't want to get into a conclusion before attending the interview.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll just make a note. I mean, I will just add one more point. So just imagine, like, I mean, you're going to watch a movie. I mean, you've been forced by your spouse, maybe your wife or a husband, and you just went there to watch. But just imagine, what if that movie is really interesting? Then you're going to watch it, right? So just like that, if your interviewer is really not interested, but if your approach is really positive, energetic, then he's going to change the mind. So I'll tell you, it's with you yourself only. I mean, how are you going to expose yourself? How are you going to show your energy and your strength? I mean that's going to change their mind. So to be precise, be positive towards everything. Yeah, that will be my takeaway for this. So any more questions?
Let me check in the YouTube as well as in chat.
This was really an interesting session. In fact, the crowd
Yeah,
really interacted, though
yeah,
initially
thank
it
you.
was not.
Yeah, yeah. I was a bit worried with that initially, but then I got to see the chat box. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I think we are done,
Um,
I guess. Mhm.
yeah, because it's already close the 8 o'clock mark, so it's a
mhm.
time for us to make it wind up.
Yeah. So, let me wrap up this session. I had a very enjoyable session with you all, and even after sharing all these tips and tricks, believe that it is your self confidence, the best tool that you can always wear to any interview. So trust your instincts, trust yourself. You should believe that you have it in you to get selected. Okay. So thank you for joining us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and please be part of the upcoming sessions as well from Obscura Zone.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you all.
everyone. Thank you, team. Bye bye. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.